Glasses. Hey everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back to a new video. I know it's been a while, I've been busy and spent most all of my time playing Persona 5 Royal. I'm still playing that. Ugh, close to the end. It's dragging a bit, but I still greatly enjoy it, of course. But as I said on a message, like this game doesn't know when to quit. I have to say, but it's been great. I've been playing that since November, basically. And it's kind of the main reason why I kind of drag my feet doing that. One, as I say, I'm busy with work and everything, and two, since I'm still playing a game from last year, I would like again, I wasn't exactly rushing to do this, but now that I believe I'm close, or at least I'm getting somewhere close to the final part of it. I'm not saying I'm close to the end because I'm sure there are at least 20 more hours or something, but I'm getting there. So, something that I've done last year that I really enjoyed and I wanted to replicate for 2023, of course, is my gaming plan. So, I'm listing a bunch of games that I've decided that I would like to play this year. However, I decided to do it slightly different. So, it's a mix between, as I said, a gaming plan and a sort of backlog challenge in a way. So I kind of combined the two things, which I think it would work better for me because this way I leave some space open to potential new releases because, of course, I'm sure there's going to be a bajillion, like every year, of games we're going to buy and not play. And Yeah, it's primarily a way to tackle my backlog because it's ever growing, and yeah, there are plenty of games I still want and still need to play. So let's try to work our way through it a game at a time. So considering I said I still playing Persona 5, um, I've selected overall 20 games, I believe, for the year, which I know I'm not going to play all of them. If I'm lucky, I believe I can tackle at least half of these, but at least I'm giving myself plenty of options and different things to consider. But these will be the games I'll focus my attention this year and most likely in 2024. Because, as I said, I'll be very busy with work this year, so nothing we can do about that. There's going to be two mandatory games that I will play this year 100%. And the first one I cannot show you, but it's the Almost Upon Us Trails from Asia, part two of the cross-build duology of the Trails in this of the Legend of Heroes series. Which I have to say, like considering that Zero no Kiseki, yeah, the Trails of Zero, was not as good as most people said. I mean, it's very good, of course. It's a Legend of Heroes games, but I would say it's probably my least favorite of the series so far, simply because for at least half of the game, it's very boring. But I would say the final third of the game is fine. It's very good. There are great moments, although I have to say the best moment of the game concerns characters from Trails in the Sky, not even from Trails from Zero, but that's beside the point. We all know, of course, that Trails from Asia it's widely regarded as the best game in the entire series. We'll see, because people was hyping Trails from Zero like there was no tomorrow. To me, was I don't want to say a disappointment, but it's nowhere near as good as Trails in the Sky and Trails of Cold Steel. So yeah, calm the fuck down, people. Because I completely agree with Leo, the funny nerd, on this. As long as it stays in Japan and it's not available to everyone, it's the best game in the series. The moment everyone can play it, yeah, it's another story. I'm sure it's going to be great. I know some of my friends online rave about this game, but I'll be the judge of that. I'm sure I'm going to love it. As I say, it's a Kiseki game. I'm going to love it. Oh my god, now that I think about it, there's also going to be Hajimari no Kiseki, like Trezor Revere. I didn't even consider that. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to buy it. Let's put it this way: I'm going to buy. I'm pretty sure I will not be able to play it because if I play that, I have to sacrifice other games. Oh, and there's also Nayuta. Who the fuck cares about Nayuta? Yeah, there's also Nayuta no Kiseki, but I don't care about that. It's not. It's a Kiseki game only name. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the series, and it's certainly not a priority because, after all, yeah, I have Nayuta no Kiseki. I have this gorgeous, ginormous box for this game, so it's certainly not a priority. As I said, like it's a spin-off. It's just Kiseki in name. It's more like an old school Ease game, which is a great thing. I mean, compared to the lackluster Ease 8, I still don't even own Ease 9. Considering for what I know, it's kind of like Oath Falgana Origin. It's going to be great in that regard, but yeah, it's absolutely not a priority to me. So maybe I have to find the time for Trezor Revere. I don't know when or how, but there's also that to take into account that I completely forgot about it. Yeah, so Trezor from Zero, and I guess Trezor Revere. I probably gonna play Trezor Revere next year. Even gonna buy it because obviously it's the in between chapter between Erebonia and Calvard, and I cannot wait to play the Calvard games. It's gonna be great to play like a PS4 game in 2024-25, basically. I don't know how Falcom's gonna. Falcom is so behind with its releases here in the West. It's insane how far behind they are, but it's great. I mean, I love those games. That yeah. So Transform Asia and Trails of Revere. Asia are gonna play for sure because I think it's going to be released next month or something. And yeah, the Revere. I don't even remember when will be out. I guess the second half of the year when I'm going to be very busy. So we'll see. So the next mandatory game I'm gonna play this year for sure. Again, don't know when. Probably this November, December. It's going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Uh, this was a potential candidate last year for the big challenge, but unfortunately, alas, it was beaten by Persona 5 Royal, which I'm still, as I said, still playing. This was the alternative, but I'm gonna play it this year because I love the first Xenoblade. Apparently, this is all the rest of the series is better than that. Very curious to see if it's true. I'm sure gonna love it. I love Xenoblade, so we'll see. But I'm gonna play that for sure. Next, here we got a bunch of games. As I said, I know I'm not gonna play all of them. Actually, most of these are going to skip to next year, at least. So for sure, I would like to play Tales of Arise. I really like the Tales of series. I heard nothing but great things about this game. Bought it last year at least, maybe. If not even earlier than that, but just I didn't have the chance to play it. But I can't wait because I'm sure I'm gonna love it. As I said, I love the Tales series. So, and speaking of Tales, let's see if I can find it. Because since I played it in 2022, I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to play Tales of Xillia too. I mean, to be honest, between the two Tales game, I'll probably give precedence to this one because Xillia is currently my favorite in the series, and I really want to see how a direct sequel to a Tales game would work. So we'll see if I can play both of them. Like I love Tales, but Xillia was just phenomenal, and I cannot wait to experience the sequel. Next, we got the most retro game of the year. Um, Most likely, this will be played as a palate cleanser, and also because I have a feeling that it's a rather short game, which is also a good thing compared to all these gigantic RPGs. And that is Galerians. This is a game I wanted to play since high school, basically. But back then I didn't own it even, so I bought it years later. And then, of course, like my PS1 was here in Italy while I was living in London. But enough is enough. I want to play this because I love these old school survival horror games. And Galerians looks so interesting and different because it's all about these kids with psychic powers and who's like experience these horrible experiments in a sort of like cyberpunk environment. So it all things that I'm gonna love. So it's gonna be a ride, and hopefully I'll make time for this. I'll try to, because it looks just so interesting and something that I would love. So Galerians on PS1. I'm gonna make an exception because usually lately I'm not playing much retro game, almost nothing. But once in a while, why not? It's gonna be great. Um, Next, there is a 3DS game here that it's Fire Emblem Conquest. Actually, Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. I bought these years ago and still haven't played it. And I would say, like, before I even buy Engage, I want at least to finish this. Because so, like, I'm done with all the Fire Emblems I have. Well, technically, no, but the more modern ones. I'm done with all of that, so then I can buy and play Engage. I'm very curious about it. I heard very mixed opinions on the Fates series. We'll see. I mean, Awakening is my favorite. For what I understand, gameplay-wise, it's kind of the same. So how bad can it be? Depends on the story, I guess. And I heard very, very interesting and not exactly pleasing things about Conquest, the Fates story. And speaking of strategy RPGs, since as you know it's a genre I absolutely love, we have of course Tactics Ogre Reborn. I was very hyped for this. I bought it immediately, knowing for certain that I like playing it. It's a different story, but if possible, try to make an effort in playing this year because I really like this old school strategy RPG. I mean, Triangle Strategy was great, and if this is anything of that, it's going to be fantastic. And as we know, Triangle Strategy is a sort of spiritual successor to this. So yeah, cannot wait to play Tactics Ogre. Okay, this is a big if. Most likely will not happen, but I still want to. It's really near the top of like my Switch backlog in a sense, and that it's SMT5. Not gonna happen anytime soon because I'm still playing Persona. So I really don't want to play two of these games back to back. So most likely this will happen in 2024. We'll see. I will probably do a sort of recap by the end of the year to see where we are. But most likely this will not happen this year. But I'm very excited about this. I mean, it took them, what, 75 years to make this game. It was super hyped. And I bought it day one because I wanted to support the company, of course. And now I'm really into... Technically, I say SMT because I always consider these games as one umbrella, but I know, of course, that Persona and Shin Megami Tensei are different things, especially when it comes to story and everything. So, yeah, I'm super into Persona. SMT games is not yet, in a way, but I'm sure I'm going to like it. So, we'll see, but SMT 5, at least it's on the list of the games I want to play as soon as possible. Or sooner rather than later compared to the rest of the backlog. Let's put it this way. Same for this game, Gridfall. It was already on the list last year, but then I realized I was not able to play it, and I just asked it for something different. And most likely it's going to happen the same. Like, I'm going to play something else instead, or I'm not going to play it entirely. And it was going to, and we'll skip another year. But I don't care. Like, I just love the idea of this game. You know, like exploring a new world in a sort of alternate, like fantasy version of the Age of Discovery. It sounds so interesting and fascinating. Like you can either support like the exploration, colonization, and all of that, and kind of like destroy this virgin world kind of thing, or you side with the natives and fight against the invaders and all that. It sounds cool. I love the idea, and I would really like to play Gridfall. We'll see what happens, but it's always going to be on my list until I manage to play it. We still have two retro games here. Again, this has been on my list for a long time now, and ideally, I would like to play it sooner rather than later, and that is Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, because I want to get into this series. I've been trying, not very actively, but it's something that I always wanted to do. I have all the games. I have Lenneth, I got the sequel on PS2. I got Covenant of the Plume. I got even the PS4 one. What's it called? Elysium. Even though it's not technically a Valkyrie Profile game, but it's something there. So I want to get into these games, but I need to play the games, and time is extremely limited. But maybe I'll try to make an effort and play Lenneth, because I'm super curious about this game, and this is really highly regarded as an old school gem. So I really, really want to play Lenneth. We'll see what happens. Also, it's portable and it's going to be on the PSP. Amazing. Also, the last retro game. So I'm not going to play all these retro games this year, probably one or two. But considering how much I enjoyed replaying and finishing, especially Wild Arms, I just want to do the same thing with Wild Arms 3. Because I already played a decent chunk of this back in the day, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's at the moment, it's still my favorite of the series, but I never finished it because back then I rarely finished games. Jump from one or the other or whatever. But I want to make an effort and play to completion this game because I remember it's really, really good. So Wild Arms 3, definitely on the list. We also have a couple of Metroidvania games here. Most certainly I will play Hollow Knight. Not only because this was a present for that amazing dude that it's Leo the Funny Nerd, but also because I heard it's one of the best the genre can offer. So I'm super curious about it. And this, most likely, this will be played this year, almost certainly. And cannot wait to play Hollow Knight. Another option is, of course, Ender Lilies. I imported this from PlayAsia. It looks really, really cool and interesting, both like as a concept, the combat system, the graphics, the style. I'm really, really intrigued by this game. So, as again, in the middle of RPGs, I want to play something a bit more actiony, and this sounds like a good option together with Hollow Knight. And finally, we also have Shantae Half Genie Hero, because I love Shantae games. I only played a couple. Oh, only one actually, but I love the idea that for the most part they look like, to me at least, light-hearted Metroidvania games. Like the basics are there, but again, it's very, very basic, and that's fine. They're light-hearted, they're fun games, they're goofy at times, like these really weird and goofy characters with plenty of humor, gorgeous graphics. I love those. This looks like the perfect palate cleanser in between RPGs or darker games or stuff like that. But yeah, I would love to play it because, as I said, I love Shantae. So, Half Genie Hero, definitely on the list. Speaking of dark, let's have some 40K, of course, because we're back into the more strategy games camp here. But I really want to play Mechanicus. The idea looks so cool. I mean, this looks like gameplay-wise, it's kind of an XCOM kind of game, which is very fine. I mean, I like those. But in the 40K universe, which, as you know, I absolutely love. And it's interesting the fact that you play as members of the Adeptus Mechanicus. You're not Space Marines, which is a nice variation for the formula, because we know Space Marines are kind of the cash cows of 40K. And it's really cool that in here, actually, you play as members of the Mechanicus against the Necrons, which lore-wise makes absolute sense, because there is this weird rivalry. Like, the Mechanicus is fascinated by the Necrons because, of course, they are entirely like living machines, basically. And that's the ambition of the Adeptus Mechanicus. But the Necrons just look at them like, what the fuck are these idiots? Basically, there's this weird relationship between these two factions. And yeah, it's going to be great. I saw some gameplay, which looks very fine. The music, it's amazing. So I cannot wait to play Mechanicus. It's supposed to be one of the best 40K games around. And I bought this a while ago, I mean last year or something. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to play, but ooh, I cannot wait. I hope to play this. Again, one of those sooner rather than later kind of situations. Next, we have a bunch of PS4 games. This is a strong candidate as my next game once I'm done with Persona 5 because I need something stupid, sweet in this case, and fast. So Resident Evil 2 Remake sounds like a good option, I think, for something like that. Just shooting a bunch of zombies in Raccoon City, reliving the experience of Resident Evil 2, because I played back in the day, of course. Sounds like a good idea after like 2,000 hours of Persona 5. And speaking of action, fun, bright, colorful, for a change, kind of game, of course, there is Sakura Wars. Really curious about this one. Plus, it has the art from Tite Kubo, who's a big fan of him, of course. Definitely an option if I want something completely different from some of the games I've listed so far, to say, like a sort of date sim plus the action RPG combat. Sounds like a lot of fun. I heard plenty of good things about it. Really hope to play this. Next, again, this is a big game. Really excited about it. Probably 2024. But we have Star Ocean: The Divine Force, which has kind of revived interest and passion into the Star Ocean series, which is a great thing because I played 2 of them. And they're great. I love this series. I have all the games in the series, and progressively like to finish playing all of them. Yes, including the what's it called? It has this stupid title: Integrity and Faithlessness. So I have, and will play all of them. But to return into that universe, the Divine Force seems like the right decision before going immediately retro. I'll first play this one, and I heard it's really good from Star Ocean fans. So yeah, really excited for the Divine Force. And finally, a game that I believe it's unbelievable that I haven't finished it yet. I only played about 10 hours, and this was just due to my situation. I have a part of my collection here, especially the PS4, and I was living in the UK. But I still want to play and finish Nier Automata. Because I remember I played about 10, 12 hours and I really liked it. But again, maybe I played for a while and then I was away for 3 months playing something completely different. So it was weird. It's the same reason why I haven't finished Bloodborne yet. That's another game I have to make time for it eventually, but we'll see. But at least before that, I would like to finish this because I love the first Nier on PS3. I also have the remake on PS4. Again, don't know when I'm going to play that. But at least I want to finish Automata because I loved what I played and really want to finally put it away. Because it's been on my backlog for at least 3 years or something. So it's time to finish Nier Automata. So this is my gaming plan for 2023. As I said, I know I'm not going to play all of them for sure. If I'm lucky, I'm going to play half of it, and that's fine. But I like to have plenty of options. And as I said, with the exception of the Kiseki games, I'm not even taking into account potential new releases. And I know there's going to be so many. But these are all games that eventually, sooner than later, I would like to take off my backlog. I want to play all of that. There's some really retro stuff, and for the most part, like always, Switch, PS4, which are my main consoles, basically. But definitely let me know what you think. Do you have a gaming plan? How are you thinking of tackling the year, gaming-wise, between old games, backlog, new releases? Tell me your secret, because, yeah, time is really scarce. I have to go, actually. So thank you so much for watching, like always, and take care.